Hello, folks, and welcome to another Wednesday night Planted Tank stream. I guess it's on PNW Aqua now. Yeah, PNW Aqua, new name. So we discussed that a little bit last time, and yeah, no longer Natural Aquariums. Now PNW Aqua stands for Pacific Northwest, and I guess that's kind of an introduction to my guest here, Jason with Redfish Bluefish. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube, so I appreciate you dragging me back in. Getting my feet wet again.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'd noticed that, and I assumed that just you're focusing more on your business. For people that maybe don't know Jason, I think most people in here do. Although I do see some new names. Welcome everyone. I think I pinned a message there, but we're going to do a little giveaway later, and so we're going to do $30 to Jason's online store. Jason owns a brick and mortar store as well as an online store. The link for that is in the description of this video, but it's redfishbluefish.shop if I'm not mistaken, correct?
You got it. We're one of those .shop websites. .shop.
We're
located. Yeah, we're located up on a beautiful Whidbey Island. Well, it's beautiful, but now it's it's a little dark here.
It's a little torn up. We talked earlier, and sounds like you guys have had quite the weather.
We did, yeah. We pardon me. I was down in Portland. For people who aren't in Portland, in the Portland Fish Club, I was down in Portland, sitting right next to Mr. Ryan here on Sunday at the Portland Fish Club meeting with Alexander Williamson. Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. I played chauffeur for him, and he made it back Sunday. And wouldn't you know it, the very next day, we got hit by a colossal nor'easter. Just colossal. What are they calling it? A bomb cyclone, basically. And it's something that happens up here in the Pacific Northwest. Basically, I don't know the science behind it, but if you're looking at the barometric pressure and it drops in a single 24-hour period more than 900 millibars, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. I like how you say you don't know the science, and then boom.
No, I read an article, and it's like, well, this is basically what we look out for, and if it happens, grab your socks, dude, because it's going to be bad. And sure enough, it dropped like 950, 940 millibars in less than 24 hours, and then the word came out, batten the hatches down, boys. It's going to be ugly. And sure enough, the next day, Monday, really, I mean, I'm from Texas originally. We call those kinds of storms, we just call them gales, like gale storms,
Right, yeah.
But up here...
I've heard that term. What did you say, bomb cyclone or something
like that? Bomb cyclone. Basically, like there were...
I've lived here my entire life in the Northwest.
Yeah, so basically there were like sustained winds hitting the island that were like 80 miles an hour. It's like, wow. That's a big deal. That's big wins for the Pacific. And I thought that we had it bad. Just north of me on Whidbey Island is the maritime border between us and Canada. And I don't know if you guys have been following the news. We didn't catch anything compared to Canada. British Columbia, specifically Victoria, that whole Western Canada is basically done right now. I mean, I don't think that there's a single open functional highway right now, not one, because of mudslides and rocks, and it was pretty gnarly. Yeah. So long story made short, we have been without power here. I'm in my house. We just got power back on in the afternoon today. We were going to have to probably look at maybe canceling this stream even, because we went right up to the wire. But I still don't have power at the shop at all. And tomorrow will be day 4. So
man, that's
it's
I know that's just a tremendous amount of work on you.
It is stress. I mean, you're always worrying about losing fish, losing stuff. We've come out pretty darn good so far. There were some losses, but it's going to happen. Yeah, basically, it's just juggling generator work. Like running the generator. Kind of balancing how much heat can I get out of this thing while I'm pushing air out of it, because you need both, and just juggling stuff back and forth constantly.
Yeah.
You really can't take a break until you get power back on, unless you want to lose fish, and that's not an option. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last going on 4 days. It's not fun.
Yeah. Late nights and early mornings at the same time, it sounds like, man.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So there's a little bit of a look behind the scenes.
Yeah. I had seen some stuff just kind of on the national news, and it said like, devastating weather and flooding in the Northwest, and I mean, it's down here. It's really windy today and stuff, but it hasn't been that crazy. I'm like, what? And so I like read the article instead of just the headline, and it sounded like the very north part of Washington and the coast of BC there had it.
The North Sound especially, and technically I'm definitely in the northern Puget Sound. We really got hammered, and we catch it every year. It's seasonal. It's usually not this bad though. This was one for the books for sure.
Yeah. At least, we're inland here. You're on the coast. You're on an actual island. Off the coast, basically.
Nowhere to hide.
Yep. But I mean, that was part of why I wanted to put Pacific Northwest into my channel name, is that I love the area we live in, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. There's beauty all over this country and all over the world, but I feel really blessed and honored to live in this place. And then up there where you're at, I mean, that's the pinnacle of it. I mean, you're big.
We're way out in the sticks,
mountains and islands, and I mean, when I think of 80-mile-an-hour winds, I know you have some like 150-foot fir trees there and stuff like that.
And that's what takes the power out over here. It's always the trees. Just knocks them down. And PSE, which is Puget Sound Energy, something long before my time here. This is going back like 25 or 30 years. People on the island were petitioning them to bury the power lines, and they didn't want to spend the money on it. And they were basically like, "Well, this is an earthquake-prone region." They're like, "Really?" Because Seattle's got natural gas pipes all underground. It's not a great excuse. They just didn't want to spend the money. So this is kind of the net result when we get these things. Power's the first to go. It starts kind of flickering a little bit. You better grab your cigarette lighter because you're going to need
it. No kidding, man. Make sure the cell phone's charged in and plugged.
Absolutely.
As best you can. And I can empathize with you just a slight bit. I mean, it's nothing like running a store and all the work you've put in. But the other day, it was last Thursday. My mother, her husband recently passed away. So we've been spending every Thursday night with her and keeping her company and having dinner and stuff like that. And so we're over there doing that. And my wife's like, are you ready to go home? I think she was ready to go to bed. She's getting tired and stuff like that. And she's kind of bugging me a little bit. And then, after the second or third time, we got to get out of there, that she asks. Yeah. And so we pull into our neighborhood when we're driving home, and there's no street lights, no lights on any houses at all. I'm like, oh man, see, you made us leave early, and now the power's out. And so I go into the garage and gather some flashlights and stuff out of the camping gear, and then Trenton and my wife, they go to bed, and I sit down and I thought I had it right here. Oh yeah, I'm reading my Crystal Castleman book I got.
Nice.
From Redfish Bluefish from Jason here, signed copies. Yeah. So I got my flashlight. I'm reading that sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And I hear drip, drip, drip.
Uh-oh.
I have the, it sounded like it was coming from my plant farm tank, which is a 40-gallon breeder that sits kind of on this big fireplace mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And I point the flashlight up there at the tank, and I'm looking at it, and I don't hear anything. I'm like, I look down at the book again. I hear drip, drip, drip. I'm like, oh, crap, you know? And then I get up and I inspect, and there's water coming from the second floor into our living room.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, uh-oh, yeah. Like, oh,
coming from the second floor, not the ceiling necessarily, but coming through the upstairs floor. Oh no.
I ran upstairs. I go
That's
to
not good.
investigate. I hooked up an RO system in the laundry room right above there, and I hadn't been running that RO system, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I run into the laundry room, the floor's dry in there. I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? I go around the corner into what we call the loft, and there is my 75 with my puffer, my Fahaka puffer. She's stunted, so 75 is just fine for her. And I didn't do it, people. You know, I got her that way. But the floor around there's all wet, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Ooh, got a leaking seam, maybe.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what it was, and then I've got no power, so I can't run like the carpet extractor or anything, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering towels, waking up the family, you know.
See, that's where I live. This kind of scenario. This is where I live, dude. It's always something's not right.
My empathy worked, but I don't know. I guess I should tell you what ended up happening, and I had a canister filter on that thing, and it was a cheap Sun one. Apparently, when that pump shut off, the seal didn't hold, and it started siphoning out of the tank. You know, and I lost, you know, about off of a 75-gallon, I lost about that much, and that was way too much water. So now I got some sheetrock repair to do, and
that's
I had
super
to dry shit out.
Really, really common with those, especially the Suns. All it takes sometimes is losing power. That's it, because the pressure inside the canister is positive at that point. You know, it's sucking a liquid in and pushing it back out. So it's pressurized, not real pressurized, but it is pressurized, and it kind of puts tension.
It forces somewhere where it wants to go.
Exactly, right? But as soon as you lose power, that tension goes away. The pump's off, and those seals start leaking. Man, it is really common. Those Suns are garbage.
Yeah. Well, it is in the garbage now, and there's another canister filter sitting inside of a bucket with an alarm in that bucket now. So I learned the hard way.
Yeah, that's actually that's a really good thought, you know, to put your canister filter in a bucket and then put a leak detector like that you would put in your basement. You know, you can get them from Home Depot for like $10.
Yep.
Put that in there.
I had that leak detector already sitting there, which I don't know if it would have done much good since we weren't home, and it's not like a Wi-Fi one. I kind of want to look into maybe some Wi-Fi ones now.
Right.
Although
I use one.
Yeah.
I use one of the little cheap. They're like, they look kind of like a smoke detector. They're round. You know, they're like circular, and they have a white wire that hangs off of it. There's a little probe on the end of the wire with with two little metal prongs. So exactly. I use exactly one of those in my shop whenever it's part of my water plant. So I have a big massive IBC tote that I make RO water, and I pump RO water into. I don't know if you've ever done what I've done. I think every human has done it. Not paid attention to the reservoir, making RO water overflow it. Ooh,
that's why I went to the laundry room, because I thought that's what was wrong. You know, that's what I had done. Yep. Exactly.
But if you do that in a commercial space, there's a real good chance you will not be in that commercial space anymore, because landlords do not like water damage at all. Right. So what I actually use is exactly one of those. I just set it on top of the IBC tote, turn it on, and I dangle the little probe just barely inside the lip to where, like, when it gets full, the water's going to hit those probes and you've heard those things go off. You're not gonna miss that. They're loud, loud. They'll
when
wake
you
the
put
dead.
your hand over them to test them, that you can still hear them, no problem. You know that
Absolutely, yeah.
throughout this house can still hear that. They're very loud. Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
And that's what I use. I mean, some people are really into like automatic shut off with the float, blah blah blah. Really?
Yeah.
How about $10 in your ears?
Yeah.
How about that?
Simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess the definitely the downside is you can't leave it unattended. You got to be there. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. Yep. Indeed. So, I was, was wondering if you'd tell people a little bit about your shop. You know, like I said, I think a lot of people know it, but
Sure,
I think that your shop is very unique, both the brick and mortar and what you offer online.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Yeah. So, the shop is the same name as my YouTube channel, Redfish Bluefish. We're located in Green Bank, Washington, which is on Whidbey Island, Washington State. And I specialize in really European imports. That's really most of the fish that I import are from Europe, Czech Republic, Poland, Netherlands, those countries, especially the Czech Republic. Yeah, and it basically started, oh gosh, this has kind of been like years in the making. I've kind of wanted to do this for a long time. But I kind of come from a government services background, living overseas, working, for and on behalf of the government, doing a lot of travel back and forth between country to country. You can't keep fish with that job. Yeah. It's not going to happen. You can't even keep a goldfish or a betta. It's not going to happen. So I really wasn't able to keep fish for a long, long time. Although I have kept them since I was a kid. I had just had to take a long break due to my career. And I think that made the longing even worse, like wanting to get back into it one day. And definitely when I'm done with this career stuff, I'm definitely going to get into it like crazy. And I am done with it. And here we go. I decided to kind of put into good use some of the contacts that I had made overseas, and just kind of start bringing fish in, especially apistogrammas. I kind of specialize in those. They're pretty hot right now. A lot of people are really into apistogrammas.
And I go on your website and check those out all the time. And yeah, you've got some, unique species that, I don't even see at the wet spot around here or anything,
I appreciate it, man. We just got to get through this freight stuff. The freight, the freight problems. So basically what's going on, I mean, COVID-19 and all that stuff is,
sure.
We don't need to go into that. Everyone's been living that reality, that horror reality. No, so what's going on recently? So for the longest time, I mean, we know that freight is through the roof because fuel is through the roof, and you can't, they're hinged together. You can't have freight without fuel, right? And as fuel costs have gone up because supply is limited, Saudi Arabia is not really producing very much. Freight costs have shot through the roof. So most recently, what's going on now is with Christmas coming up, the Christmas holidays coming up, basically huge retailers like Walmart, Target, big retailers, they can't get in toys and crap for Christmas like they're used to being able to get via sea freight every year, containers and containers and containers full of this stuff. So what they're doing, I mean, these guys they have the money to do it. They're actually chartering entire planes from China Airlines or you name it. Yeah, they're chartering entire planes and packing them with goods for Christmas. I mean, every single thing they can fit in that plane.
Passenger jets, you're talking.
Yeah, absolutely. They're chartering the entire flight, and they're just packing them full of this stuff.
Holy cow.
And let me assure you that, if it's the lowly fish importer versus Walmart and company, Walmart's going to win every time. They've got money to spend on freight that we don't have at all. So that's kind of what's been going on the last about month and a half, coming up a little bit more than a month. About every other order that we place bumped. It just gets bumped, and it's just, when that happens, it's like poof. It's like it never happened. Like you never even ordered fish. It's not going to happen. And that means it's canceled for that week. It's just not going to happen. You got to try the next week, and then often it happens again. So we're having to try like 3 times before we can get successful orders to come through, and it's not a good situation. And we really don't expect it to change, frankly, until Christmas is over.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Now you were able to get like an order in somewhat recently, weren't you? Or did that come through?
Yeah. I was able to get a smallish. It wasn't supposed to be a small order. It should have been like 4 full boxes of livestock, and we ended up getting a box and a half. That's how bad the fill rate. We call it a fill rate. You know, when you order 10,000 of something, you get 9,000 of them. That's a really good fill rate. If you order 10,000 and you get 1,000, that's a really bad fill rate, because that's not even enough to fill up an entire box. But shipping is dimensional, meaning it's not weight, it's dimension. So you paid the same amount of money on a half full box, you see? So
yeah,
it's tough. It's we really don't expect it. Like I say, we don't really expect it to improve until after Christmas. And it's just how it is. So we're taking this opportunity to really kind of keep our head down this November, this December. We're not doing a whole lot, kind of on purpose. And we're taking this opportunity, this kind of lull, to bring in some stuff that we've really been trying to get our hands on. So when January rolls around, we can really go like full out. Yeah.
Turn it back on, crank
it exactly. Up. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes to order or receive fish in December anyways, man. It's just not some people do, most do not. Most are like, talk in January, That's it.
Yeah. I always, around Christmas and stuff like that, during the holiday time, it's usually the rule around our household is we're not buying a lot of new stuff, because you're going to get a bunch of junk on Christmas and stuff like that. Right. And then, usually, I don't know, for me, I don't have people buy me fish, right?
Right.
I buy my own fish. So yeah, I could see.
Right.
That.
Right. Yeah. Well, we do ship FedEx overnight. I mean, that's how we ship. We were playing around with USPS for a while, and it's just results vary.
And I don't know how much of this has changed since then, but I've heard that you have some of the better shipping rates. I know you put in like a lot of work to negotiate kind of the best rates that you could and get people their stock as quickly as possible.
We went back and forth between us and FedEx a lot of different times and tried different kind of schemes. And so most of your freight companies like UPS and FedEx, especially when you're a new business, they'll give you a really good competitive rate, but there's a string attached or strings attached, and those strings are usually a lot of volume. Like that you have to do like an X number of shipments per month and it's a certain revenue spend and that sort of thing. And they almost always set that number just like way too high. Like this no one's ever going to hit those numbers. So you usually have to go back and forth and negotiate, several times. And we've done that, and we've come away with 73% off sheet rates. So,
and our sheet rate, that when you first come to them, that's what they give you. They're like, here, this is what it costs, right?
Yeah. Oh, a box of fish from here to Manhattan, that'll be $170. That's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Or not that high, but it's really quite high. I think you could expect to about $120 spend, on normal sheet rate for a 1 cubic foot, 12 inch by 12 inch by 12 inch, up to 10 pounds. That could be $110, $120 overnight. But luckily with our rates, that's more like 40. So
nice.
Yeah, 35, 40. And there's a little bit extra that people do get charged for the heat pack and the fish box and the insulating panels and all this stuff's not free, but it's pretty affordable
to get fish there alive, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I've never really understood when people really, really, really want to go on the cheap, like really go on the cheap with shipping rates and like shipping materials. it never works out. It just doesn't work out. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always best to do, what's in the best interest for your customers, even if sometimes you have to make that decision for them.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I was curious as far as getting stuff in on the plant side. I call this the planted tank stream. I'm a plant nerd. I know you're a plant nerd. Is it really affecting that as well?
It is less so, I would say. So there was a time I was importing plants, especially tissue cultures from Europe and Asia. I was actually importing them through the procedure for importing plants is totally different than animals, completely different. You're not even going to be dealing with the same people. Mm-hmm. Different fees, different guidelines. It's actually way more difficult to import plants. Much more difficult. Really? Oh yeah, way more difficult.
Because people are concerned about invasive species and stuff like that.
Yeah, aphids, bugs that travel on them, nasty funguses, fungi that can get in and really like hammer citrus. Florida. There are certain like apples and berries are really important to this state, right? And Florida and Texas, citrus, really popular, really, really important. And all of those, crops are particularly sensitive to certain kind of blights. And a lot of those blights come out of Asia, unfortunately, because of the tropical climate and all that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they are not monkeying around when they say, we're gonna be checking these plants carefully. They're not joking. They're definitely going to check them. Yeah,
that's fascinating. So, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know how big the fruit industry is in this state. And it could just shut down the whole east side of it, basically, if things go wrong.
So the plant side, not nearly as bad because I actually don't import my plants anymore. I work with a small family-owned plant nursery in Florida. In this,
nice.
It's a little bit outside of it's South Central Florida, basically, right smack dab in the middle of the state in the South. It's a small family. Well, it's not small. It's actually quite large, but it's a family that owns it. It's the father and mother and sons and daughters work there and all that. And it's a really, really nice setup. They're really, really good people, and I haven't really had too much trouble getting plants because it's domestic. Domestic is completely different deal. Although shipping rates have gone up for everything, plants included. So.
And then it looked like for a while that speaking of tissue cultures, that you were converting some of those yourself or growing some of those out yourself. Are you still involved in
I was I was playing around with that for a while. I haven't really been recently. Tissue cultures are an odd thing. It really depends on if you want to buy order a bunch of tissue cultures and sell them at retail, then it's very, very important where you have your shop. So if you have your shop in a large metropolitan area, Seattle, Portland, Houston, Chicago, New York, blah 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 blah. Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be able to sell those tissue. Yeah, you'll be able to sell those tissue cultures, no problem, because there are enough, not just planted tank people, but kind of aquascaping type people in those areas. Now, when you're in a more rural area like this, they don't sell so hot because people are they're kind of intimidated by them. Ooh, which ones of these are easy? And you're like, none are easy. Do you have CO2? And they're like, what? I'm not doing that. Then you're like, well, then you're not doing any of these plants successfully. No, you cannot do Rotala macrandra without CO2 from a tissue culture. It will not work. Trust me.
I got a bunch of Limnophilia aromatica back here, and I've heard people say that if you have enough minerals in your water, you can do it without CO2. I got a fair amount of minerals in mine. In fact, a lot of tanks, I don't even have to fertilize them a lot, just because they're getting so much between the fish and the water that they're good. But no luck with that. I think it's a CO2 only plant in my experience.
I've had luck with Limnophila hybridoides and Limnophila aromatica both without CO2, but you have to start them with CO2. You got to get them started with CO2. And then, when your stems are nice and 6-8 inches long, they're nice and full and pink and green and all that. Yep. Cut that CO2 off. They're good to go. They're established. But
so you're talking about shutting down the CO2 essentially, not necessarily just doing the kind of shock and taking them out of this tank and putting in another, or
no. I'm specifically talking about like when you're starting these, like from tissue culture, like Limnophila aromatica, Hybridoides, quite a few other stem plants. I've had a lot of luck getting them started with CO2, because most of them are really gonna require CO2 to get going really well from a tissue culture. But once they've established really well and you've got really long stems, kill the CO2, pull it off the tank. You're good. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, the stems grow much, much slower, but that's usually music to that's people's ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not all stems.
It's ridiculous.
And you can't do that with all stems for sure. I mean, like, I don't know, like Rotala ramosi or something like that. You better not do that with that plant because it will be dead in 2 days. Trust me, it'll be gone without CO2.
Yeah, some of them just shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when people are looking at tissue cultures, at least when I am, I'm looking for the really unusual stuff, the stuff that's a little more advanced and stuff like that for the most part. So yeah, I can see that how that plays in the difference and your little island market there. And I imagine you have people coming over from Seattle and stuff that want to check out the shop, but it's a bit of a trek, right? You got to hop on a ferry and stuff.
Yeah, and to be honest, most people that are seeking me out and my shop out, they're not coming over for plants at all. Yeah. They're coming out for like, wow, this guy carries Pseudomygil tenalis. Mm-hmm. I've never even heard of that Pseudomygil, and he's got a tank full of them. Plus, he's got apistos every other aquarium. He's got zebra acaras coming out of his ears. These are not common fish to find in a fish shop at all. So
and even the guppies you have and stuff like that. I know you've sold some of like Bentley's, Moscows, and then you were showing me, a picture of some this. Jason showed me this amazing picture of this red.
Oh, the red lace. Yeah. They're doing okay in the dark. They're not happy, but they've got air and they've got heat.
That's good. That's good. But
that's really what that's my bread and butter. If I'm being honest with you, it's not aquarium fertilizer. It's not food. It's not filtration. It's none of that stuff. It's fish. It's live animals, and that's probably, honestly, it's probably something we're going to be focusing more on in terms of business in the future. Like I was saying, like tissue cultures, I love them. They don't sell, not that much. Location is everything when it comes to like aquascaping stuff, aquascaping grade plants and equipment.
Yeah, actually, when you came to Fishtoberfest, you brought a bunch of hardscape and some tissue cultures, and I got a couple of tissue cultures that I hadn't seen around here, and then I hopped on your website and I was hoping to see those again, and I noticed they weren't there. What I really liked was the Hygrophila pinnatophyta. Several nice pieces in that little cup. I threw it in a tank that had CO2, and like almost instantly they went from being this big each to like that.
Nice.
Attached.
I really like Tropica's. I really like the Tropica strain of the Hygropinnatophyta, the one that you got. I really prefer Tropica's strain, and I know this is sacrilegious to some, but their strain is way better than ADA's strain. The Tropica strain is way better. It's redder. It grows better. It's just the mother plant, the donor plant that they took that they excised the explant from to start that strain is way better than what ADA used.
And it looks better. It depends on the plant, right? There's probably some ADA plants that are better than the Tropica ones. And
absolutely, yeah. Most ADA. Yeah, exactly. Most of the ADA stem plants are better. ADA
Yep.
stems are really good. Like their Ludwigia Mini Super Red is way better than Tropica's Mini Super Red, and that's just it's down to the genes and the cultivars, really. You know,
That's
you
really
said it.
interesting. Yeah, that they're, you know, I mean, people, I think even myself, you know, I've got a tendency to think, you know, it's the plant is the plant. You know, if I believe that they've got it labeled right, it's the plant. But yeah, I find that fascinating. We have Trenton here. He wanted to pop on and say hi, if that's cool with you.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
I'm randomly
Here, get in the camera so people can see you.
my chair.
Oh man.
Got to get in the captain's seat.
Yeah.
Hey.
He took my foam roller for my back and he's sitting on that. So don't be surprised if he crashes and burns.
What's going on, Trenton?
Pretty good.
Staying at it. You're what?
In a video game that I was playing, Fortnite. We don't want to give them any free.
Oh, Fortnite. Right on. How many of the Fortnite dances do you know? All of them?
There's way too many.
I know.
There's like thousands. There's like 1,000 Fortnite skins.
Yeah, I know. It's going crazy. They've definitely jumped the shark for sure.
Oh, yeah.
100 crossover skins.
What a racket. I wish I had to come up with that idea, man.
Oh man. If we had
fish stuff, but
could you imagine
likes buying Fortnite
skins,
for sure.
Could you imagine with a time machine what we could do? Go back, Google, Yahoo. Oh man, come on.
Yeah, I dream of that every once in a while, you know. Yeah.
It's nice to dream.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd invent stuff or just bet on sports, you know. It's always been that battle. Of course, you know, if I change the outcome of any sports, I think I'd feel bad. Whereas, like, you know, if I just took over Facebook or one of those companies, you know, SpaceX or something, you know, I think I'd just be okay with it.
Or you could just like, you know, do slick things like go back and register like yahoo.com, facebook.com, all that. Like, no. But they're for sale. They're mine, but you can buy them, you know?
Yeah, come on.
Like they would probably, it's like face something or like that's what it was. Facebook sounds educational almost.
Yeah, I think they were calling it the Facebook for a while, and they were like, lose
the movie, you know, and then Justin Timberlake stepped in. He said, "No, just Facebook."
Yeah. It was not my favorite movie, really. You know,
I'm a big fan of Nine Inch Nails. In fact, you know, my son's name is Trent, and so I love the soundtrack of that movie more than the movie itself. You know.
Yeah.
Those people.
I think the movie missed the mark a little bit there, kind of trying to endear the viewer to those you know, kind-hearted tech billionaires. Like, man, they have real struggles too.
Yeah, I found it kind of cheesy, and that's probably part of it that I just wasn't buying into the whole thing. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, talk about first world problems, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're almost 40 minutes in here.
Man,
I told the people here that I do a giveaway, $30 to Jason's shop, redfishbluefish.shop. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Trenton, you want to find something to write down a number somewhere?
I'll find the most random object.
All right, you go do that, and then I'll talk to Jason about tissue cultures a little bit more.
Right on.
Leave it open. Leave it open.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be. I think. Well, I don't know if I should say anything. The plans are a little bit fluid, but I think tentatively right now I'm scheduled to come down in April to Guppus, to the Portland Club, and do a talk on tissue cultures and the science behind it, and, you know, plants, that sort of thing. So
nice. Yeah, I really appreciate your support of our club. You know, it's something that's really important to me. I was secretary for a while there, and now I've transitioned to treasurer. And yeah, you came down with Alex you know, last weekend on Sunday there, and yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of time to talk to you because I was all involved in that. Are you gonna write it on something?
Yep, I got the box and the marker.
But yeah, really appreciate you being, a sponsor for Fishtoberfest, and yeah.
Oh, for
it's
sure,
great to
man.
see you come down with Alex and hang out with you before Fishtoberfest, and yeah, you
I like
joined
the club.
and
Yeah,
stuff, so yeah,
the Portland Club is really cool. I really dig it. I like that it's not a huge, massive club with like thousands and thousands of members where, it's just kind of gotten too big for its own good sort of thing. The Portland Club is totally the opposite. It's smaller. It's definitely more intimate, and people are really mellow, down to earth, really easy to talk to.
Good dog.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Okay. I'm back.
Did you write anything down?
Nope.
You got to do it off camera, man. You got to write it down off camera and keep it off camera. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Whenever anyone does their first giveaway, I think it always
Right,
well,
what?
maybe not a number. Let's see. We got. Oh, I guess you need some more parameters, right? We got 32 people in here. So I don't know, Jason. What do you think? A number between 1 and 60 or something like that?
Yeah. I think that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So write down a number between 1 and
Are we-
60.
Are we doing 215 or 130? 215 or 130?
Just one $30 gift card to redfishbluefish.shop.
Okay, let me go think.
So you just have to write down one number
Think of one,
and
while
it's
I put-
between 1 and 60, okay?
Okay, I'll be back.
All right, come back when you're done. Oh man, kids.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any kids of your own? I didn't think so.
I do. Yeah, I do. I have a son, 12 years old, Mr. Adrian. Yeah, he's around. I don't know. He's probably downstairs tearing something up, playing video games, probably. Probably not Fortnite, but probably Forza Horizon or something like that. He's really into the racing games.
I used to be into the racing games too. I like pretty much any time I have to play video games now, I just play a little bit with him from time to time. We're playing this wacky moving game. I don't know. I think it's called Moving Out or something. The game is hilarious. It's just a little kind of cheesy game, but yeah. And you're these mover guys. You load up all these boxes or crazy stuff like this. But yeah. So I don't play a lot of games anymore, but I did love those like Forza games and stuff, a chance to, I don't know, I'm into cars and stuff. And so, a chance to kind of virtually drive these ridiculous cars, a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or, an 80 Mercedes or something like that. Yep.
And they put a lot of work into the roads and the maps as well. Like they're legitimately like actual like scenery and the roads and all that's taken from real life. So
yep.
Pretty cool.
I saw something on like Reddit one time, and there was some video game, and they mapped out an area of Vancouver, Washington, where I live here, and like you could recognize, the exact little town in this video game. It's absolutely crazy.
Nice.
All right. So I do see a number. Keep that thing over there. And then, so the people, we're not doing any Price is Right rules here. I'll go ahead and type in start. If you want to enter and for a chance to win, go ahead and enter a number between 1 and 60. And
60?
Between 1 and 60. Your number's fine. Don't say anything. We don't want to give anything away.
There we go. I see numbers popping up. We got 44. We got 37.
Awesome.
Oh, we got a lot of numbers.
Yeah. So I guess
let's let it go for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, we got to give people some time. We're gonna give them some time to put their numbers in.
And then we'll scroll down from you saying start. So let's
Good
say,
plan.
And like someone's already said the number. Let's just say the number for example is. I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna say it. Let's just go 70. That's not in
there. Let me continue with the stream. We'll get some numbers and stuff like that. Okay. Thank you.
Let's just continue. What were you guys talking about?
So, one thing I wanted to talk about in the tissue culture world was what your feelings were with cryptocorin tissue cultures.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest with you.
I
Crypt
haven't
tissue
been a real big
cultures.
fan of them either.
No, you're you're gonna. So if you find a crypt, like I don't know, Crypt Nuri or Iron Maiden or something that's really really hard to find, and let's say that you can only find it in a UNS tissue culture or something like that.
Yeah,
You're
you
gonna
want to
be
leave that plant, and that's the only place you can get it, I guess.
exactly Crypt Nuri or Iron Maiden or whatever you want to call it. Flamingo ADA has it, and those are
Mhm.
equally difficult plants. But on crypts, what I've noticed is that you are gonna be the royal you are gonna be way better off if you get them in tissue culture, start them above water, start them out of water. Like get you a little 5 gallon aquarium, put aqua soil in it, right? Like fluval strat doesn't have to, you don't have to break the bank. Don't do real dirt from outside because you're going to get bugs in it and creepy crawlies,
Yeah. So yeah, this is exactly what I've done. I got a bunch of that Crypt Flamingo or a couple of tissue cultures worth. I ended up with
Pink
like 11
Panther,
plants.
whatever they're calling it, it's the same
Yeah,
plant. Yeah,
from week to week. Yep.
right.
And yeah, I've at the feed store, I got a little mini greenhouse. It's maybe that thick, that deep or so. Filled it up with just some real high quality planting soil, nature's ocean or something like that. I think. Yeah.
Let me show you.
Nice.
I feel like it's time to stop soon.
Yeah.
Number?
I'll remind people. Get your number in. I'm gonna put down
10 seconds.
stop.
Can I
I
do
think
10?
maybe everyone's
10 seconds? No.
Like even these cruddy little all-in-one, like from Petco, they're made by Aqueon. They're like supposed to be for bettas. If they're crypts, like it comes with this really terrible, like it's not good at all. This little bitty, it's like 5 little lights in it. I've even grown crypts in these things with this light, no problem, because they're low light plants. They don't need tons of light.
And they just need something to contain the moisture. They need that moist environment in there.
That's it. And light, some light, not tons, but just some light. And just in my view, and I'm sure you're going to get thumbs downs for this, but in my view,
I'm not worried about it.
Crypts that come out of tissue cultures, really with one exception, really should be avoided. They're not great. Unless you're going to start them, like in a really humid environment, like double their size. Okay, then all day long, they're going to be fine.
So grow them up a little bit there, and then if you want to transition them into an aquarium, you're going to have a lot better success.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Trenton. I think it's time to reveal the number and determine who has won.
We have a lot of numbers.
Should I say something?
No, you shouldn't say anything. Just grab where you wrote down the number and show it.
Should people be able to say 2 things?
Yeah, Atkins Nature Aquarium there. I see a comment. Pink Flamingo is just a Crypt Wentii with a hair dye and fancy name tag. That's exactly correct. And it will not stay pink. It will never stay pink. As it gets older and bigger, it'll lose its pink and it'll just go back to regular old green.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of money on that and that plant, and I haven't had a whole lot of good results. And yeah, I have that plant with some other immersed grown plants, and I just might leave them there, or maybe down the road if I feel like messing with it again, I might try to transition some.
I like crypts. Don't get me wrong. I like crypts, but they don't excite me.
I love crypts.
They don't really excite me. They grow really slowly, and they're slow propagators, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't get super excited about them. I really gravitate more towards stems, like weird stems.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's been interesting. I'm reading that book and whatnot, and how each plant has a different temperature it likes, a different amount. To reach this ideal.
Yep.
Growing stage and stuff, and yeah, it's really interesting. Trenton, how about you hand me the box so I can show the number?
No, can we scroll down and you say the numbers slowly? I feel like that might be
okay. All right, fine.
Say the numbers from the
All right. Looks like Liquid Zoo has 44. Eduardo has 11. J-Rock Does Stuff has 1. Mystery Snail Guardians has 13. Aqua Kiwa. I don't know. Sounds kind of like P&W Aqua, you know. They got, what do they got? 36. Crown Tail Half Moon, 54. Geek Boy with 6. Richard Goger also with 6. Might be a runoff there.
Mystery Snail Guardians was in there at 13.
Oh, yeah, 13. Don't want to forget about her. Another Northwest person. Yellowstone Aquatics, 45. Katrina Elliott. She's a Guppus member. Thanks for coming by, Katrina. She's got number 1. Steph with 27. Deborah with 37. Jimmy P with 4. Stephen P, 39. The rapper. Have you seen his new rap?
I have not.
Oh man, you got it. You got to watch the dirty version.
All right, yeah, I'll check it out after this one.
Oh yeah. I mean, the dude puts out quality stuff, and that's a killer one. Mike's turn 2, 42. Patty's got 20. Patty's here. Color Guppies with 48. My boy Vinay, he got me some these awesome Ginga Rubra guppies. They're beautiful.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah, I tried to bring in a slew of the Ginga Rubras, man, and I got skunked on them. They zeroed me out on them. This was about a month ago, man. I was pissed off.
To breed them, so maybe I can bring them up to you someday. You know, we'll see how
it
works out.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. If you come across a fish that you really, really want, you will not be getting that fish. It's just not. It's just the law of averages, man.
Paul Sotero, 59. Monster Fish Gal Lori, 23. Skull Aquatics, 19. Sandy Dowdy, 54. Maria Z, 55. And let's see. Ian's got 35. S with 31. Rachel Y with 52. And I think that was it. So let's see the number while I can still get back to the numbers, I hope. You know?
Okay, it was on there. There's like a pretty good percent chance it's not on there. Everybody got, some people got 2.
Can you show the number?
Not that.
Yeah. So here, let's show it.
Okay, can I show it off?
Yeah, you can show it off.
Okay, don't look at this 5. This was rough.
Don't put any more numbers out there. The number was 36, folks.
And so
36.
Yeah. So
and I already see it. Yep, I already see a winner.
Yep. Nailed it. Yeah. So congratulations, Aqua Kiwa.
Okay.
Let me throw.
Someone else got it? Yeah.
Make sure that we don't have 2 36s. We have a 37 and a 35. And let's see.
It was from, I think, Ian.
Ian was close, 35, one off. And
I know, we had a 35 and a 37 too, but looks like Aqua Kiwa got 36.
People were all over it. But congratulations, Aqua Kiwa. And so on my page on the about part is my email address. I also just put it in chat right here as well.
Can you put my link for the chat for me so people can subscribe to my channel, please?
Got a lot of the usual suspects in your stream. I see a lot of names I recognize.
Yeah.
People I haven't seen in a long time.
We've all missed you, Jason. I'm so happy you're able to come on here, but I totally understand when you gotta focus on your business, and that's the number one thing, provide for your family and all those wonderful fish and plants you have there and everything else.
I also wanted to, kind of take a minute to wait until I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to do more content. I'd like to do, more YouTube, but I kind of want to be a little bit more selective, and when I really have something cool to show, something really cool to share, then I'll be all over it. But, just kind of like the obligatory streams, after a while, it kind of felt like it really wasn't fun anymore. And it should be fun, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
one
that's
of
what
those
we're
things
all
like
here for.
if you're not having fun, then what are you doing, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I'm like, you know what? It's time for a break.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Can you what?
Oh, right on.
Trent wants to show the shirt from my old channel name.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
It's not limited.
I suppose you could still buy it, and I mean, it's it's just as natural aquariums, and got a couple of Ultim Angels on there with a little bit of plants. I don't know.
And then the back sucks.
Yeah. And then the other side, just an NA to get people asking questions and stuff.
Right on. Do you have those made up there in Portland?
No, it's just like a Teespring thing or something.
Oh, I got you.
Yep. And so I put that design on. Oh man, they got like 20 different styles of shirt you can get, so people can choose, whatever quality they want. And then I wasn't looking to make any money off of them, so I turned the prices as low as they would let it go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
$2 more than how much they cost.
I've never had any real illusions of making money off of YouTube. I have a day job for that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Some of us have 2 or 3.
Yeah, no kidding. All right.
Right on. He's modeling the shirt. He's rocking the shirt, man.
Yeah, for sure.
The name.
Oh, I was checking out because I made
the shirt. He's rocking the shirt, man.
Oh yeah. I clicked on the wrong thing there. Sorry about that. I wanted to tell you. I love the little tip you gave on one of your live streams about when you have some real small plants and like little tissue culture, just to put the plant weight on there.
Oh yeah. Just put a plant weight on it and just drop it. Just let it go.
I mean, it's super simple, but it's something that I never just really thought of and stuff. And sometimes with certain species of plants, like the carpeting type plants and stuff, I mean, it could just be very tedious to plant, especially if you went every individual stem, but even just planting like little clumps of it, there's so little root there a lot of times that it's hard to plant something next to it without digging up the other one.
And also another thing, I know you've noticed this, everyone's noticed this who's worked with tissue cultures, often like right out of the cup, the little plantlets are so tender and delicate. Like working with them, it is really easy to just like rip it in half. Yeah. So, what would be a good example? Okay, here's a good example. Something that when you buy it in a tissue culture cup, it doesn't look like there's that much of it in there, but there's tons of it in there. But it's all stuck together. It looks like one really dense plant. It's not. It's like 20 plants. Hygrophila pinnatophyta.
Yeah, maybe 50.
or not. I'm sorry. I kind of went brain dead there for a second. Oh, little star downoy. You know that little plant?
Oh yeah.
That plant from Thailand. If you get a tissue culture of that, it'll look like there's like 4, maybe 5 individual plants. It's not. It's tons. So what with that plant, the best thing to do I found is like get out each clump, right, and just put a little bit of lead on it and drop it in your tank. Just wherever. Just drop it wherever, and rock it with CO2 and good light, fertilization, all that for about 2 or 3 weeks. They will increase in size so much that when you take them back out after 2 or 3 weeks, they'll all separate super easy.
Yeah.
They'll all come
really
apart like real easy.
You've got some root growth where you can actually plant something, and
exactly.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're on the same page when it comes to that. Often you got exactly. Stephen P. 2003. I just see his comment. Pogostemon helfra. Yeah, downoy. Yeah. Absolutely. If you just pull them out and plant the clumps and just like leave it alone for 2 or 3 weeks, hit it with CO2, man, you can separate them and you won't tear anything up at that point. So tissue cultures take a little bit of patience, but well worth it.
Man, we're coming up on the hour already.
That's the hour.
Ask you about like making tissue cultures, because I know you've been into that and everything, but I don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait for your talk in April or whenever you're coming down.
Yeah. And, it's gonna be sometime in April.
Nice. If anybody's interested in learning about that on Jason's channel, he kind of goes through the whole process in his home lab there, and so you can see a lot from there. And it's an interesting process, and one that I don't think a lot of people know about.
It's pretty nerdy. It's pretty involved, but it's just like fish breeding. You do it in steps. You can't go right to raising fry. You gotta make the parents happy first, right? You gotta get eggs.
Yep.
And then you gotta hatch the eggs, and then you gotta feed them. Tissue culture, same thing.
Oh man, Trenton, you're distracting. It's a good thing that we're coming up on the hour. I'm gonna let Jason go. I gave you an out on this, man. I figured with the power down at the shop and stuff.
Yeah.
You had more important things to deal with than my stream, but man, you kept your word and you were here and you wanted to do it anyway. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Unfortunately, I was planning to kind of do a stream from the shop so I could show some plants and stuff, but with power being out, we're literally like in the house, just like on the dining room table. It's the best we could do. But I really appreciate you having me over, man, and we'll be seeing you really soon.
Cool. Thanks for everyone who came by here to watch me and Jason talk, and us to, for the most part, just ignore the chat.
As per usual.
And I look at things, and it looks like everyone's later, and it looks like everybody's just having a good time and having a nice conversation. So hopefully that was happening again. Thanks to the mods on that note. I appreciate you having me here and allowing me to do these crazy things. And I guess we'll catch you guys all later. Thanks again.
Take care.
No.